Hey, Shelley, are we it?
Hi, we're still admitting people.
Okay, cool.
It'll be a minute. And I'm going to mute everybody just so we don't get a bunch of things until questions, until it's question time. Um, Not sure yet. Probably. I think I'll just let people contact me if they want me to do a meeting for a group. That way, I don't. Oh, yeah. I'm just setting up things. I forgot she was on my shoulder. I'll have to put her away in a second. But yeah, I feel like I probably will just let people contact me because I want to give them my contact information, and then that way people can schedule with me if they wish to um, do more of a meeting. For now, I just invited the whole world, and that may get me into trouble. Okay, little girl, she's so happy just to be on my shoulder. You say hi. Yeah, say hi. Okay, you go there. I'm sure more people will jump in. I figure for the first 5 minutes or so, it would just be people joining in, and who knows how many. In the meantime, I'm going to figure out how to co-host with somebody because that's the only thing I'm not sure about yet. Hi, Gina. Oh, I'm looking at that shadow already. I'm just trying to find the option that it says. Yeah, I was looking directly at that. See, it tells me to make a host, but not make a co-host. And meeting controls at the bottom of Zoom. I'm surprised a whole bunch more haven't joined in yet. Hmm. Yeah, it's not letting me do a make co-host. It's probably because I just have a free account. And I'm hoping that Zoom allows more than 4 participants and that people aren't fading. I think for Zoom, join. How many people can join? Let's see. Yeah, 100 participants. Okay, good. plans allow up to 100 participants. Free, yeah, free hosts up to 100, which I didn't expect it to be any more than hundreds. So, and the 40-minute maximum, which is fine because I didn't expect that to be any more than 30. So, okay, I guess might just be us four, which is fine because I will be putting this up on YouTube after this is done. And let's see, let me go ahead and put the link to my YouTube account. It'll go under. Can't post the video until after it's done, but we'll go into this account when I'm done with it. Okay, so it's been 8 minutes or so. That's enough time for people to show up. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So my name is Shelley Eto, and I go by Shelley Eto professionally. And I am a career consultant, but I was trained in Japan on how to wear masks properly. And for all of the people out there that say, you mean like this? And they're done. Yeah, no, there's a lot more to it than that. So I was thinking, hey, I have this information. I might as well share it with people. And if it helps somebody, if it saves somebody's life, then this is worth it. It's worth all of the trolls that might say something in the YouTube comments. It's worth the problems that I've experienced from Reddit. It's worth anything I get, because if people see this in the future, then they know what tips to share. And you guys are free to comment. And Shadow Wolf is my kind of moderator friend, and he has been given permission to or he will be given permission to take people out as necessary. But no, like, I don't think this is really going to be an issue. But hey, you know, when you post stuff all over the internet, you never know who you're going to get or what their reasonings are. So I wanted to give out this information because this has been helping at the place I've been working for, one of the places I work for, because I have 3 jobs, and one of them is Target. And none of my coworkers have gotten this, you know, this particular pandemic, none except for one, and she got it from an outside source. She was immediately quarantined. We haven't had a problem since. Our stores remain safe and extremely clean, and Target's a really good company to work for, and it's provided us with a lot of safety equipment and everything as fast as they possibly could get it to us. So I'm very impressed with them. So what I did was I took it upon myself to train my coworkers so that we kept each other safe, because my store's team is extremely strong and quite friendly. You know, like, we have a really good team. And I thought, I need to share this out amongst other people so they can, you know, share it amongst their friends and their family, and maybe there's teachers and students here that might kind of need something, might kind of need these tips. So I figured, hell, I'll just run a class and just give this out, and from there you guys can share it. And I don't care if I'm only doing it for 4 people in a Zoom. Hopefully more people will show up, or more people will see it on YouTube and such. So we're going to get started. I have a plain mask here, and I've got a couple of other masks, but I don't have all of the types of masks. That's just impossible. So I have 3 different types here. A standard surgical with a little wire in it, a cloth mask with a wire, and a cloth mask without the wire. And so I'm hoping some of these tips will help you with some of these masks, and you can use them, you can kind of play around and use your own mentality to think, okay, if it works for this one, how can it work for this other one? Because there's no way I can get all the different types of masks. I have friends that make different types of masks as well, and there's just too many different variations. So we're going to go ahead and start with, I guess, the surgical mask. Everybody knows how to wear a mask. This class was not about how to wear a mask like this, but there's a lot of different issues people are having with it, such as breathing issues, glasses fogging up issues, and I've got tricks around them. So I'm hoping these tricks work for you. With this type of mask, yes, it has the wire in it, and of course you bend it around your nose so you get the full coverage. But so one thing I want to point out with the mask, yes, the top bit, obviously, the top little wire goes over your nose. There's something else people don't know. You see this side that I'm wearing it on, the white side? That's the wrong side. The correct side is the blue side out. So you need to wear it with the blue side out. That's because there's two layers with masks. The bottom layer is what keeps the virus from staying in, and the outside one is what traps the virus from the outside. So you need to wear it with the blue side out. A lot of people didn't know that, including myself. I didn't know that at first either. So obviously, wire above it, put the loops on. Great, you're ready to go, right? No, you might have some issues. I'm going to bring up issue number one that people can have. Hold on, we've got it all nicely listed out. So here we go. So proper mask orientation done. Glasses fogging trick. Now I don't have any glasses, so you just have to pretend my fist here is glasses. A lot of people have their problem with their glasses fogging up and they just cannot see. So then they end up doing this or this, so that way their glasses don't fog up. And they're getting no protection from the virus at all doing this or this. It has to be all the way covering, of course. So what you want to do to stop your glasses from fogging is go up as high as you can. The higher you go up, right on your eyelids or underneath your eyelids, preferably on your eyelids, as high as you can physically stand it. And yes, it's going to be a bit hard at first to get used to something sitting on your eyes. Well, if you ever worn contacts, you get used to the feeling of something in your eyes. So I do believe most people can arrange that. It's just a little minor difference to deal with something sitting on your eyes. And really, if your nose is big like mine, because I've got a big nose, then it doesn't really even hit your eyes. But for some people with like smaller noses, yes, it does. It's okay. Just put it right underneath your eyelids as far up as you can stand it, and you're probably fine. Then put your glasses over top of it, making sure to sit your glasses on the mask itself, and not here, not underneath. Even if we got those little nose bridge things, you put them underneath, right there. That's trick number one, and that solves that problem. That simple little trick is what solves that problem for 90% of glasses wearers. 90%. There's 10% that have this type of glasses. They're kind of like square frame. Doesn't work for them because there's nothing of the glasses to put on here. So there's a trick number two. So trick number two, let me make sure everybody's in. Yeah. Trick number two is even cooler. You see this top bridge here? Turn it inside like that, and then push it around your nose like normal. And what that does is it creates a barrier, a little bit of an extra barrier right there between your breath coming out and your eyes. And then again, you pull it up as high as you can underneath your eyelids and put your glasses over top of that, resting them on the mask as much as possible. That might mean you might need to readjust your glasses on your ears a little bit because you're going to be pulling them forward. So it won't sit as tight on your ears, it's going to be sitting above. That's okay. You can go to any glasses place and get it readjusted for wearing a mask while we have this issue anyway. So, I mean, it's very easy for you to go to an optical center and just get that, like, all they do is heat up the glasses edges and kind of rebend them around so it's more comfortable. Yeah, just take it in with your mask and then see what they can do to make it fit while wearing this mask. From Renee, okay, I have a small face and masks end up going into my lower lids all the time. It's good to know this is a feature rather than a bug. Uh-huh. Yeah, you want to bring that mask up higher. It protects your nose more. So that helps with both types of glasses as far as I found. Now, keep in mind, I didn't actually know that trick. I was actually taught that a while back in the USA, even though I should have, because most of Japanese students wear glasses. But it was just never a thing to teach. It's just so normal there. So I learned that upon coming back to the USA and seeing people having this glasses fogging problem. And then it hit me. Oh, that's why Japanese students did that thing. Never realized it. Keep in mind, every single Japanese student there wears these daily. This was even prior to the pandemic. Teachers wore it. I felt weird not wearing it because everybody else was doing it. So a lot of people say this is they're making it political. No, they're not. It's not political. A lot of other countries did before us. How can it be political? I don't quite get that logic. So that's the end of the glasses part. The next tip is the tightening trick. These masks get very loose, especially if you've got masks like this. For example, this mask is kind of tight on me, but you can kind of see how loose these can get with this type of fabric. It can get loose really quickly. The more you wear it, the looser it gets. So there's, and I'll use this for a better example. There we go. So there's a nice little trick to tighten it up. It's stupid simple how easy this trick is. I love it. And there's actually a second level trick I'll teach with it as well. First, it's really loose on you. It's falling down like this. Every time you go down, it falls down. This one doesn't, but you go down, it's like hanging off your face like this. Yeah, you need to tighten it up a bit. All right, how do you do that? In about 2 seconds, take this, twist, put it back on your ear. Let me try that again. All right, this, twist, done. Pull it wide again, boom. You've just tightened it up an additional ½ inch. And yes, you stick out a little bit more. That's okay. That means your breath is actually going out this way, which is safer because any virus potentially goes into your hair. Or you can tuck it in a little bit. I'm tucking it in the wrong way, but there's a way to tuck this. There we go. Where you can actually tuck it in like that. You see what I did there? Tuck it in. Boom. You now have 95% protection. Sort of. I mean, it's more like 60% with this type of surgical mask, but you get the idea. You are like covered with this trick too. Like you are as covered as possible. So there we go. That's an easy little trick. There's another trick that nurses use as well, and that is to tie a little loop. You can tie it up here, or you can tie it out here, where you just do a little, in or out, like you're tying a shoelace. Like that, and pull it tight, and boom, there you go. Your mask is super tight on you, because now you have to put that last loop there. Same, and you do the same for this side. That's really good if you only have these and you got kids. If you haven't found any kids masks yet, which I'm sure most people have, Target has a huge amount of Cat and Jack kids masks. There's like, oh my God, so many different variations. But if your kid forgot their mask or lost their mask and you're in a pinch, you need to go into the store and the store's giving only these out, which they usually do. That's the very easy make it for a kid trick. Just tighten that up or twist the ear if they're a little bit older and they've got a big enough face, but not quite big enough. That's the tightening trick, 1 and 2. The next trick is the breathing technique. People are struggling like hell to breathe. A little bit less with this mask, sure. But with these and this, they're struggling so much to breathe with these. I don't blame them. This mask that I have here basically completely fits to my face and makes me muffled as hell. And I actually have to speak differently just to make sure that my voice is clear. I have to intonate a lot more just to get it through this mask because it is just really tight and small for me. This was given to me, so hey, free mask. Not going to complain. So, what do you do to breathe through this thing? Well, there's a couple of tricks. And obviously, I'm not going to do it with this mask on because you can barely hear me. Let's try it with this one. And maybe you can see a little bit easier too. If not, I'll try it with the other mask. This one's just a general cloth mask, friend made, with a wire in it. And you can see really cool how I breathe with this mask. First, you breathe a little deeper and a little differently. Don't use your nose. You use your mouth. You become a mouth breather when you're wearing a mask. Totally fine. The funny thing is you can make really funny faces at people too. Nobody can see. So go ahead, play it up all you want. First thing you do for breathing techniques, you breathe in like you're shocked. And then breathe out like you're blowing out a candle. Now you can see it go into my mouth. That's fine. You're being protected no matter what. Yes, you're wet. Your mouth gets wet, or your mask gets wet. So do these. It's just the standard of it. Just change them out frequently and you're fine. So you breathe in a little deeper. Breathe out a little faster. And you'll be able to breathe through it because it has this effect. A lot of people have this problem of the mask being too much for them because not just because they're breathing difficult, they're not breathing fast enough or whatever. Their brain is panicking. Their brain is saying, oh my God, we can't get enough oxygen. We can't get enough oxygen. Oh my God, it's so hot. I can't mess with this. My whole body is getting hot because of all of this. I'm feeling claustrophobic. The room is like coming in on me. Obviously, the room is getting smaller because I can't breathe in it. So the room must be getting smaller. Our brain is panicking. It's going back to those parts of our brain way back here where there is, we were back in the Stone Ages or less. It's that lizard part of our brains that is panicking. No wonder people are experiencing issues with it because they are being called by their lizard brain saying, there's a problem here. We do not like this. We understand the reasons for it. Those aren't getting to us because we are experiencing this problem back in the part of our brain that we can't control. None of us can control that. So then they started saying, oh, they don't like masks. Oh, I can't wait for mask wearing to be over. Oh, I'm not going to wear a mask. Oh, my rights are being infringed. All of that is coming from the lizard brain talking because they can't breathe because they're not breathing right with it. So what we do is teach them the breathing trick. And this breathing trick helps with all things. Number one, when you breathe in and breathe out, it has this feeling. Like if you do it with me here, you'll see. There's this feeling of a fan going across your face. So it's not so bad when you get a fan blowing on you, is it? One of those oscillating fans. You've got this going right across your face. So hot, cold. Hot, cold. Breathe in is cold, breathe out is hot. And people can adjust better just thinking of it like that. Also, that I can't breathe thing. Well, if they're breathing in stronger, they're bringing in more oxygen, which calms the lizard brain and says, oh, well, okay, we can just get oxygen. We can get oxygen. This is fine. It's just taking us a little bit of a harder time to breathe, but hey, we can still get oxygen. Fine. It's like being in Colorado. People in Colorado take, 6 months to adjust to the lack of oxygen up there in Denver? I have 2 brothers that live there. I know for a fact it's less oxygen up there. And I've been there a couple of times. Yes, it's less oxygen. People take 6 months to get to that level where they've adjusted to the lesser oxygen. You know how long it takes us? From my study of my coworkers at Target? Yeah, about 5 days. Just 5 days. Less than that for most of them, 3 days. Because when your brain stops panicking about breathing, then they start doing it innately. At first, they have to power through it. And the first couple of days is really hard. You have to consciously think about doing it, consciously punch away at it. And then it starts becoming innate. And then you have this moment of panic, and then you're like, oh, yeah, breathe. You do that a few times, calms the lizard brain a little bit. And then after a couple of more days of that, so about 5 days, people are doing it innately. They don't even remember that they didn't, like, they don't even remember that it was a problem. They don't know, they don't see it as a problem anymore after those like 5 days. I've had some coworkers take a little bit more, especially elderly coworkers, and some of my coworkers that have breathing issues, like when their anxiety flares up, or one of the people I helped at Target, he had COPD. And even he, who naturally had to breathe deeper anyway, was able to adjust to this, just using that breathing technique and calming the lizard brain and saying, oh, that's all we got to do. We just got to bring in even deeper breath. So poor guy, I'm sure with COPD, he was like already doing this just to breathe. And now with this mask, he has to do this just to breathe. And you're only shopping for a minute. I mean, for the people with COPD, I mean, they're trying to stay at home. So if anything, they're just in Target to grab the basic supplies that they can't get otherwise. So they have to do it a little bit more, then they're out and they can take it off. So even with people with light to medium COPD, I have found from my experience with guests at Target and my own coworkers, that even they don't struggle using that technique. It completely calms the brain and completely puts that lizard brain at ease. That we're good, we can manage. So that is the that's the breathing technique. Pardon me. Talking so much. So now I'm going to actually show you about washing masks, because this has been washed once. These, of course, have been washed a lot. But you can wash a mask. One of these. Of course, you can wash these. By the way, they do say in there that, don't put it on the high heat cycle, just to let you know. Yeah, sorry, I got a message there, but that out. There we go. Sorry. Dang it. Messages come through at the wrong time, don't they? And I can't stop some of them. These things shrink. They shrink. So be aware of that. If you put it on the high heat cycle in your dryer, I recommend just using an iron instead, because it doesn't shrink them as bad if you're ironing them. Don't put them on your high heat cycle in your dryer at all. But I'm going to show you a clip, if I can share my screen here, and that will show you how to wash one of these, so you can get a couple of extra uses out of it, especially if you run out, you don't have enough money to buy some more, whatever you have to do, because I wash these maybe twice before I give them up. So I have a clip here, and I'm going to share my screen if it allows me. There we go. I'm going to share that. And this is a 2-minute clip, so enjoy.
Around the country, some cities require people to wear masks when out in public, and millions more are doing it just to stay safe. But those masks can get pretty dirty pretty quickly. Can they be cleaned? The answer is yes, and here's how you do it.
Face masks can be reused if you know how to wash them, says Women's Day editor Megan Murphy.
On cloth surfaces, the virus can live up to 7 days. You can just throw it in the wash and then run it through the dryer on high heat.
She says hot water and detergent is key, but don't even think about disinfecting them in the oven or microwave.
That is a potential fire hazard, and we don't recommend it.
Surgical masks can also be reused.
If you're using a disposable face mask, it's not going to hold up as well in the laundry. So you can hand wash it in sudsy water let it air dry, and then take your iron and run over it a few passes to get that heat.
As for N95 masks, which are meant for first responders and medical personnel, experts say you shouldn't launder them because hot soapy water may disintegrate their protected layer.
You want to pretend like you're steaming vegetables.
NYU public health professor Dr. Jack Caravanos showed us how, if absolutely necessary, they can be disinfected at home using a vegetable steamer.
You're going to need a large pot with about an inch of water, and you want to bring that to a boil.
He says put them in a vegetable steamer above the water line for about 10 to 20 minutes with the lid on at more than 150 degrees.
I'm putting them contaminated side up.
Important tips that keep us all safe in these uncertain times.
Okay, so I hope that information was helpful. I am going to open it up for questions in the last 10 minutes that I have on my free account. So participant, I need to not just do shit to everyone and participants can. Okay, so I am also going to open up the try to open up the audio for anybody that wants it here. Publicly and privately. All right. Yeah, everyone. Oh, I'll allow you to unmute yourselves. There you go. If you'd like to unmute and ask any questions, or you have any tips or advice that you've actually seen that I haven't gone through, I think I've gone through most of my tips here. But I figured I should open it up for you guys. Does anybody have any questions or anything?
I have what might serve as a quick tip. It's something that I teach to my CPR classes. I've been a CPR instructor for quite a while, and sometimes people have trouble getting rescue breaths into the mannequins. It's something that I learned in theater. Everybody who's here, go ahead and take a deep breath. Take another one. One more. If you were in my class, I would have you stand in profile so I could see you from the side. I have a feeling that everybody in the group just breathed wrong. Did your chest go out and your shoulders go up?
For me, no, because I actually was trained in singing a long time ago.
There
so
you
I
go.
do the singing
But for
training.
most of us, when we take a deep breath, particularly when we take a deep breath with a mask on, you'll see everybody's chest expand and their shoulders go up. What you need to do instead is what's called abdominal breathing, and it takes practice.
Yeah.
If you've got experience in singing or in theater, they will have taught you to do it. And it's actually how little kids breathe, but we kind of forget how to do it over time. The best way that I've found to get people to practice is lie down on your bed or some other flat surface. Put something like a book that's not too heavy, but you want to feel some weight on your abdomen, and practice when you breathe in, making the book or whatever it is go up, and when you exhale, having it go down. Practice this for 5 to 10 minutes, a couple of times, once a day for a few days, and you're going to have it. It's very helpful, especially if you need to project through a mask.
Oh, definitely for projection. I could see that being a good reason to do it, especially through these tough like cloth masks that fit a little too tightly.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I can show that off here real quick. What you're talking about, because this one obviously muffles my voice so badly, and so for projection purposes, come on mask, there we go. For projection purposes, yeah, you do need to breathe through your abdomen a little bit more. So if I was just talking normally, I'd be talking like this and not really projecting or anything, and people would have trouble hearing me. But if I was to project using the abdominal sort of breathing technique, then I would be projecting like this, which obviously carries more sound further. Is that what you're talking about, Renee?
It's helpful for projection. A lot of times it's helpful also for people just to get more breath in. So it can help that lizard brain panickiness that comes from people feeling like their breathing is restricted.
Yeah.
So it helps with that too. I do use it for projection. I teach CPR classes even during the pandemic, and I teach them with one of those cloth masks on. So I get muffled a lot and really have to project.
Yeah, and for that type of thing, if you get muffled, yeah, get yourself a larger mask, slightly larger mask.
I've got a little tiny face, so I can't do it. I end up wearing my mask super tight, especially since with CPR classes, I end up within people's bubble. I have to be within 6 feet of them.
I got you. I've noticed that with some masks, the tighter the weave in the middle here, the better it is for giving space for speaking.
Uh-huh.
So if you have one like this, it's actually quite bad. But I'm not sure if this is any different. It's kind of bad this way, but if you have more pleats in this, more in the center, and then more space out on this side, like this one has more space here, which is why this one works better for me.
Gotcha.
My friend had done it on this side as well. It would have been perfect. So I found that that might be a trick for you to get a mask that doesn't muffle your
Thank you.
yeah.
Have you got any experience with those, goodness, I forget what they're called. I think of them as kind of face cages. They are the silicone things that go underneath your mask, but over your nose and over your mouth. And they are meant to hold the mask a little bit off of your face so that it feels like you can breathe better. I have some of them and have not used them yet. My actual hope with them was that they would take up space to make my face a little bit bigger for masks and make them fit better.
No,
Anybody here have any experience with that?
No, I haven't seen that. I think I know what you're talking about, but my knowledge of that comes from Japan and not from the USA's versions, where Japan actually had in the nose part of some of their masks, they had this like foam bit to allow for people with bigger noses to be able to use them better. Worked wonderfully for me. Even they were still not big enough for my big ass nose. But yeah, it worked really well. I get why they were doing it. It just didn't work like that. But I kind of see what you mean about like putting that all around the face. That way it gives you more breathing room. That's interesting, but I haven't seen that in my particular area. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
Wait, you said you're from St. Louis?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, hello from Kansas City.
Really? You're all the way in Kansas. That's awesome.
Yeah, just across the state on the other side.
I have a friend that lives there, and he just caught COVID, even though he was being so protective.
You really can do everything right and still catch it, but you can reduce your risk through proper mask wearing and reduce risk to other people.
Yeah, and reduce just the pain and anguish on you from certain issues with wearing masks, like the glasses fogging.
Right, and I'm gonna use your tips because my glasses fog up all the time.
Oh, good. I'm glad that I can give you a tip that might work with the nose bridge, sort of go up and not down, and the twisting trick here. And I hope that helps. But I found that of all of the people that I've tried with, and I've tried it with a couple hundred people now that have just walked into my store, and I would just be like, "Your glasses are fogging up on you, aren't they?" And they'd say, "Yes." And I'd be like, "Hold on, I got a trick for you." And I just approach it like that, and it's worked wonderfully. And haven't had anybody get angry at me for it or anything. So
I can share that with my students as well. Most of my classes, I'm fortunate enough to be able to work from home the majority of the time, but CPR, I go in person to that, and I can share these tips with my students and help them out.
Please do. We need to share them longer, and I just hope that this little class, even if it's only 4 of us, that the YouTube video goes out a little bit more virally and helps more people. I didn't want to do this for any money or anything like that. Like, I didn't care about that. I'd rather just people get the information they need. And I got to wrap it up here because I'm less than 1 minute until this class is ended from the free account things. So I hope you guys all enjoyed it in the YouTube video. You can leave any comments, questions, upvotes, or whatever you want to do. And I'll get back to any other questions people have in the YouTube video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you later.
Thank you for having